How we doing, homies? I've got a 3 versus 3 here for you. This is going to be an interesting one. It's also on a map that's not actually completely finished by the Shambler. So don't be surprised if you see some tiles that are in the wrong place or the wrong time. But we've got an interesting rotation of players to introduce today. So I hope you guys are ready for some team game action. Here we have, in the top left, Grass Eater as the Celadon Zerg. Allied with Hamster, who 6-pooled, I'm pretty sure. He is the Periwinkle, Deep Periwinkle Zerg. And in the top, up here at 12 o'clock, we've got Toyota Miguel, the Maroon Terran. Their opponents, Shambler, Black Protoss, Kasuga, the he might be Tomato. I'm going to say Vermilion Proton. And down here we have Raenarill, the Dark Sapphire Terran. Indeed, the Deep Periwinkle is a go. We've got Zethrakors moving through the middle of the map. Across the Grand Bridge with the Shambler tile. Classic move. Who could they attack first? I feel like Kasuga could be in some trouble because he doesn't have any combat units out. He went Hierophant first, but Hamster, he's kind of scrambling a little bit here. He might be able to do some kind of catch. Wants to go right for the workers here. They are going to bunch up. The Hierophant initially snaps one Zethrakor immediately and gets the attack speed buff, which will allow the Scribes to do a lot more damage here to those poor Zethrakors. It looks like they aren't going to get too much after all. Just a small spattering of economic damage and only one worker kill between all of them. A little bit of worker scuffles in the other bases, as of course the team has aligned itself together. Triple lattice for Shambler. We've got mech coming out of Toyota, including a fast watchdog. I think he might have scouted that fast lattice. And yeah, he says the same thing. Yeah, play static defense, there might be vassals. So Grass Eater's gone for double Larvosk. This was clearly a reactive placement. You don't normally place your Larvosk there, but instead he's going to go for the Spraits around it. So that kind of makes sense. And we saw earlier a lot of bio out of Raenarill. He's going to be sticking to that as he goes for a faster expansion than the rest of his squad. 4 idols trying to earmark their territory here. I'm not sure about Shambler's Scribe here. It's wounded, so I wonder if maybe it was initially supposed to be a worker scout that returned home or something like that. Now, we do have a Zorkish Shroud on the way, which is exciting stuff there for Hamster to be doling out for us. And looking at the way that there's the Hydrith already operational here for Grass Eater. He actually only has the 3 Iziricors, but those could still be a bit of a problem. This mech army of Toyota will absolutely crush those idols. Really shouldn't see too many casualties. Ministry coming up for the man. The Polish powerhouse representing. There's even some lobotomy mines here to alert Toyota of what's going on. And so as soon as the Cyclops show up, they focus down individual idols really well. And that is a wrap on that attack. Shambler will not be able to really stance up here. But Kasuga might arrive with some backup. I don't know that that's still enough. Even if they combine their forces together, there would need to be some nifty micro for sure. Stockade coming in. Doubtless, we will see a Vestry for the healing add-on. And it does look like with this sieve, we are going to get a little bit more eco from Raenarill. I don't think that Raenarill can really affect change too much along the map, and the mine hit is going to be good to stun a lot of those Cyclops, so that's actually working out pretty well for Shambler. Finally, that idol gets broken. The Cyclops not really being microed as Lake has come out for Hamster to push Kasuga's forces away. We do have that one idol that might end up getting a little bit of damage. I think Toyota could have microed his army instead of asking for help. You know, you do get those notifications that your forces are under attack and such, but Grass Eater will help clean this up. The one idol, it doesn't have any frags. It is unlikely to get any. It's trying to do the friendly splash from the Cyclops. Ooh, look at that. Even the fadeaway, not going to happen. So it looks like everybody has done pretty well there cost efficiently. Obviously, it did throw a little bit of a wrench in the plans. Now, we've got a backstab on the other side. Raenarill looks to cancel the natural of Grass Eater. I think his forces are already close enough from the retreat, especially with these Hydras coming up from the ramp. They can kind of pick at the extremities. They're forcing a stim. And again, the attention is away. The hatch is going to finish, not going to be canceled. Kasuga trying to come up with a couple of Dracodons, but actually Hydras do really well with them, and as long as they're on the ramp, they have that cliff advantage as well. So this fight does not look like it's working out for the South team. behind the Shambler setting up his own expansion, as previously noted. We are talking about, let's just say, a very interesting stance for 3v3. I definitely want to see a little bit more tech, and there it is. Kasuga going for the Ardent Authority. We're getting a Palladium from Raenarill. Roughly equivalent in that respect. Hydrith Den for Hamster. So he wants to run the whole gamut as far as tech is concerned. Ministry out for Toyota, but he hasn't actually landed it yet. He's making sure he can actually take certain bases. And no expansion from Hamster? No, I tell a lie. He's just taken a very far away one. That's kind of interesting. I feel like that was intended to be his natural. Wants to save that for Toyota. Maybe he thought Toyota was going to take it himself. It's all right. I mean, whoever does want to take it can always do it relatively fast. No vassals coming from Shambler's lattice spam, and Kasuga doesn't have any. So those watchdogs do feel like maybe they're surplus to requirements. I feel like your anti-air is just generally going to be a little bit less stressed out in the early stages of the game when you are up against non-Zerg. Now, the golems here are definitely going to help out a lot, but I love that Toyota tries to force target down those idols in the back line. Slowly, these golems are going to be brought down, but it's going to cause a lot of collateral damage. Rocket's helping out quite a bit, kind of forcing these idols back. They're so brittle, so vulnerable. They will break through the Cyclops at the end of the day, and there is one golem still alive after all that. An anchor, 2 anchors being remade. Nothing really to staff them. You can load Lakizelisks in there. HH, he says. He's really asking for that help. Yeah, you can toss Lakizelisks into an anchor, and they will attack out from it, but they fill the whole anchor, right? And one Lakis isn't always a lot of damage. Great splits here from Kasuga, doing a wondrous time, forcing a liftoff of that base. Maybe Toyota should have actually taken the one directly south of them. It does look to me like Hamster still wants to make magic happen. He's got some Zoryus out, Grass Eater coming in with the muscle to try to push these guys out of here. Get him out of dodge. One Zethar Core comes up. Oh, it actually kills an engram. That is brutal. I'm not even sure Shambler noticed. I see his cameras over there, so maybe he did. No cancel, though. That's a lot of money gone. Probably something you won't see happen anymore since they did get buffed by 1 armor. Raenarill denying the natural of Grass Eater as his third is being set up. This one was left totally unprotected, undefended. Now you're seeing the reaction from Hamster to put down some more static defense on his expansion. And the Hydras will mass up there. Top team definitely under the pump. It has come at the cost of expansions from the bottom team. And there's the Lakis inside the anchor. I bet you guys never thought you'd see that in a game of Starcraft-ish. Whatever this strange game mode is, you should totally download it and play it. These Cyprians are doing so much work to the Hydras, but it does look like eventually, with a good split from Grass Eater, he will be able to overwhelm that position. Tier 2 completes for Raenarill. This force from Kasuga and Shambler still kind of sauntering around on a little bit of a jaunt. There's the Zero Cores to trade even more cost efficiently versus the Bio. And this one Circuit on the eastern flank is going to be overwhelmed. Now, Toyota's mech have reconstituted over here. That is definitely going to be a good move for the Terran. He'll see if he can hold off any other attacks. Clearly, the answer is yes, although he kills an Ahmed for his troubles. It looks like Kasuga has decided to fall back. Early aggression has definitely worked out for the South team. Worker counts, we can check in, though, and we are seeing that the economic damage is definitely dealt. Shambler in the lead for the lobby. Raenarill and Kasuga. Well, Kasuga's got even worker counts with most of the other players. Raenarill even with Grass Eater. So, realistically speaking, the big heavy lifter right now here is Shambler's macro. He's got more workers than the closest competitor there, right? So they're trying to figure out who to attack. This composition doesn't have a lot of damage associated with it. Atreus on the way here, so I guess that will be a little bit more of a punch. But versus a more armored composition, Iziricors, Zoryusthaleths, I do think the Golems are going to struggle. It looks like Shambler's making the decision to counterpunch. Ooh, that Accantor gets scooped up by Kasuga. Nice and well played. We have some Bactylisks here, as some Lakis as well. And like ships in the night, Shambler's army is moving in to converge upon Hamster's natural, while Toyota pressures the third base. There's a couple of engrams. They're going after the pylon. That's not the target that they really need to be focusing on, because the Nexus obviously empowers those units. And it looks like the Zerg might have been stuffed and stalled by the joint efforts of, well, actually, it's just Kasuga defending right now. He might actually end up getting overwhelmed. Toyota's mech have had to fall back. They've been massacred on that front. And meanwhile, the natural expansion here from Hamster, it is dead and gone. Well, the bio is in such a position that especially once those Lake is burrow, there is no hope at all for Raenarill to break through this position. He needed detection, and he probably needed to leverage some of the phalanxes he should have been making out of that very, very important Palladium there. And it looks like he does have them, but he doesn't want to uproot them from a defensive stance. Shambler's army has returned home. It's going to see if it can break this apart. The Accantor, well, another Accantor alive and kicking. Remember, the previous one was super low. It might have actually gone down in the meanwhile. And it looks like this will be more than enough. The golems do get wiped. That's actually pretty significant. Some way, somehow, they have detection, or maybe it's just the cataphract colliding with the right targets. Yeah, it looks like that was it. So most of the golems get killed, but, you know, at this point, this is still looking like a pretty good change of pace here. Hamster having to retake his natural. Toyota going to go ahead and land at the third base, for a third base. Grass Eater retaking his natural. His third has been up and running for a while, undefended, unprotected. Bactylisks and Zoryus for our Grass Eater. Interesting stuff there. Hamster's Hydras are going to try to hold Shambler back at the ramp. They're only successful in really killing a single golem. Oh, they might be able to pick that Atreus. The Lake is burrow, drawing a lot of fire from those idols. They need to get the hell out of dodge. And look at this flank from Grass Eater as well. That's going to wrap up pretty much everything here. There is a witness from Kasuga, but other than that, every Protoss unit has withdrawn to safer pastures. Obviously, the Matrixes are up as well at that third base. If Shambler's base can get wrangled, then I do think our top team has a pretty good chance. Raenarill is also teching up and trying to actuate his tech. Meanwhile, both Zergs just dropped their Iral Iris. So this is an opportune time for Grass Eater and Hamster to try to combine their forces to break the Shambler right here and now. What is the counterpunch from Kasuga? And what is the counter move from Raenarill? These are key details, key issues that they are going to have to contend with as the Lake is start to burrow in. That's going to be a humongous amount of spines onto those very brittle units in the back. Not much front line left for the Zerg. Reinforcements coming in from Shambler's rallies. And Accantor going to get dropped pretty close to the front line. I'd be a little bit worried about that, especially as the Envoy gets kicked back. But it might have sown enough chaos to allow Shambler's remaining forces to still live on. He's trying to unload directly onto... Oh, that's a snazzy move. Killing two Lakers immediately. Just landing on top of them with the Accantor. I would never recommend that kind of move. But that play is exactly what ended up working. Toyota, meanwhile, is going to try to knockout punch in this position. I'm not so sure he's going to be able to. He didn't really bring that many mech units. And his healing was much too late to the party. So he will end up getting one engram, but that's it. Not able to quite kill the Envoy. Oh, it does go down with the Accantor in it. Couldn't find an unload spot. We've got Raenarill moving out with a mostly tier 2 army. Durandal's Cataphracts, a couple of bio units mixed in. That's going to be a dead Zerg base. There was no defenses there. A whole boatload of Zoryus are over here, funnily enough. And we do have Mantles coming online for Toyota. So he's not the only tier 2 in the lobby for Terran. Remember that the Zerg tier 2 has gone down. We're talking about the Ultrav Cavern coming. Some Oxal Cesians just to get straight in. And yeah, Toyota's asking for assistance. He does have some anchors, but the golems are going to mostly disregard this damage. And that's going to be a lot of friendly fire. The Heracles don't deal friendly fire, so there is that at the very least. And I don't think that the rest of the army can shirk that responsibility quite so heavily. Durandal, Cyclops, Hurakan. Yeah, they'll eventually clear the golems, but it's going to do a lot of friendly fire damage. You know, it honestly wasn't that bad. A lot of the Masons seem to have evacuated, so I thought that it was going to be a more scary attack, and I think you can say that Toyota felt that way too. Fourth base operational for the Shambler, but he's not actually saturating it. The Natural's been evacuated for Grass Eater. He's going to be going down to one base. A very oversaturated, depleted base. Not really a whole lot to work with here. A flock of mutas has arrived, but these are cataphracts, my man. You can't stance off against them with mutas. That is not going to be it. If you had a boatload of Protathalors, maybe a Matravel nest so you could grab some Ensnare Aura, yeah, okay, now we can start talking, but I don't think that they can deal with that mech stack that Raenarill's built up during this time. Just look at him. He's up to the third base. This neutral base being harvested by Kasuga. Doesn't look like anybody's been doing it on the northern team this whole time, so missed opportunity. Maybe Grass Eater could have sent his workers off to that side when evacuating. Okay, so Kasuga's natural base here, or neutral base, is going to be heckled. The workers are all going to fall. This is the good usage, a good usage for Mutas. He did just trade 4 of them for a Madcap, though. Not so good after all. Now, okay, Toyota's going to try to use his Tier 2 to stop Hamster's natural from being killed yet again, this time by Raenarill. I'm not so sure. This is obviously a lopsided fight, but where are the reinforcements? Where's the rest of the rallies? That's what we need to see right here, right now. The Mutas come back to try to clear out everything that isn't a Cataphract, but that Hatrosk is going to explode. Zoryu's coming in for the flank. The Muta's just getting shredded. They tried to sacrifice themselves to keep the Hatrosk alive, but it did not work, not even in the slightest. The Lake has come in. I think this is probably going to be GG pretty soon. They just don't have the money. Maybe Hamster could send off some of his workers to this newly established base in the corner there. They have wiped the mech stack, but Kasuga's coming in with Pariahs and a bunch of gateway units, and it just doesn't seem like the Zerg players can refill. They have no workers at this base. They're currently sharing space somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. Oh, I guess they were just distance mining, actually. But still, no Hatrosk put up there. An Uptecton with the Mine Tyrant linked. It's a little too far, so you're not going to get the Malefactor passive activated there. And Shambler going to continue to bully Toyota as he tries to establish his extra base there. The Vibrances are out. A single H in capital letters. That's all he's got. Desperate for assistance, but his teammates, they have nothing to assist him with. Hamster has to call GG. The Cataphracts, a little too powerful. A funny tactic, a funny strategy coming out of Shambler to go for this composition. And of course, we know that everybody loves the Uptecton, the Mine Tyrant Uptecton combo. Everybody loves that. So that's a wrap. Bottom team has claimed victory. Shambler wins on his own map. I mean, is it any surprise? I hope you guys have enjoyed this 3v3 match in Cosmonarchy. It's very epic. It's very cool. And I will see you guys very soon for more.